Extracurricular section. We have our student discipline expulsion for student 7102588, student number 7103310, student number 7103946, student number 777. Moved by Mr. Win.
Hang on a second. Press this one, not that one.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second.
Okay, second by Mr. All in favor?
Aye.
With a motion of Brian Ryan and a second by Diane. At this time, I guess my Ready. All right, thank you. We're going to do recognition. We have the aces.
Good evening. Am I on?
Oh, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure. Please come up and hang on. Not here, sir. The board, which is like pivot. Shelley Mayweather. This is what she team, as well as the school. Phone was ringing. And then the students that said it loud. No, they're great. The students are in action situation when they were so busy and there was so much information there was a sight to see. I always nice. You join me in recognizing the
It's Thank you. Okay. We also have our enrollment report.
Can you hear me?
In ECE, we have 529 students for a grand total of 14,577 students. This is a gain of 32 from our last board report and a gain of 262 from the same time last year. I also wanted to include some numbers that are pretty important for us. On homeless students, we are seeing that number go up. And as of today, we have 930 students. That's a sharp increase from last year. And our foster students are 530. So we just want to keep you aware of those numbers because they're increasing.
All right, thank you.
I'd also like to get an indication now and again about the TK and the universal preschool numbers.
So you'd like the kindergarten and UTK broken out? Okay, I can do that.
So that I have a sense, because that's a new program, the universal, and a sense of the growth of it. Sure.
Okay, thank you, Rebecca. I guess it's also, it's on here for us to take note that October 9th through the 15th is Week of the School Administrator. We have anything for that, or we're just preparing for it?
It is the week of the school administrator, and we're preparing for it, and we're going to have a little event on our lead meeting on, I believe, the 12th.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you to all our administrators.
Yes, thank you. I guess now we're going to have our curriculum highlights, which is the Science Olympiad at Fulton and Allsbury Academy by teachers Fernando Cortez, Alex Cortez, and Jason Sprague, and students. We get to have some students. Yay!
I've heard it just that for coaches. November and the January to attend. And then we have our regional and quite successful in the past for our state competition where we also and that is our goal this year to compete and to make it to Caltech for our state competition. From these students with us, a little bit about Derek during one student and very excited. Speaker is Abigail.
Nice, 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 nice. Thank you. 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 Thank you.
Lighter?
Thank you.
If you are a member of the Science Olympiad team at Fulton Ellsbury, please stand because thank you very much for being here, and are just incredible. It's a world-class experience, and being able to compete in school. To the coaches, students, and to all of our. Okay, my three students are presented that come over here in the middle here. We're going to get the all coaches. Black Park. And John, you know.
Always.
You guys get there, so you know, you guys get doing class on X. Keep it in mind. Have a good night. Your homework.
I want to thank you for coming. It's been 2.5 years since we've had students present to us at the board. This is a really big event for us as well. So we've missed you a lot.
What high school did you come back from, Mr. Denny?
Compass Charter School.
Thank you very much for coming back, and to the rest of the Science Olympiad team. Do well. Do well.
All right.
As you always have.
Well, thanks again, students, and good work. And we're wishing you well. And I know you guys will have some great coaches, and you guys will do well. We're looking forward to hearing good reports. What next? I guess we have our our general obligation bond program overview and opportunities with Kushru from CFW. Come on down.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Kush Kiar from CFW. Very pleased to be back over here this evening. Sorry. Is anybody? Should I just speak up loudly?
Thank you all for coming.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Mr. Wynn.
Well, I appreciate it because you've given us some very good advice in the past. I kind of saved it for the last 6 months with the interest rate. So I'll be supportive whenever Dr. Freeman.
All right. Thank you so much for coming down. Appreciate it. Okay. I guess next we have action item number 14, which is approval of agreement with Parent Square for pilot program. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Diane Grooms,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Wynn. Questions, concerns, clarifications? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Brings us to item number 15. We have the adoption of resolution 2022-2311, resolution of intention of the Lancaster School District to annex certain additional territory into the CFD number 2004-1 and to authorize the levy of special tax within the area to be annexed. Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mrs. Grooms,
Second.
second by Mr. Wynn. Questions, concerns?
This is now a for the district to different facilities projects.
Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. And then we have B of the same item number, adoption of resolution number 2022-2312, resolution approving and authorizing execution of mitigation agreement. Anybody want to do a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Grooms,
Second.
second by Mr. Wynn. Questions, concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. And we have item C of the same item number, approval of agreement for WeTip anonymous reporting solution. Solution. Anybody want to make a motion?
Move.
Moved by Mrs. Grooms, second by Mr. Wynn. I think we already had this. Anybody have any questions? All right, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Then we have individual action items, educational services. Item 16, we have approval of study trip to New York and Washington, D.C. for Paiute students. Buddy?
Motion.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Wynn and seconded by Mrs. Grooms. Seems like a cool trip. Anybody got comments or questions?
I'm glad we're back on the road again.
Yeah. So this trip will occur until next.
2023.
Okay. And what are the composition of students that are going on this trip? Is it law, is it government? Is it... Yeah, what are the composition of the students that'll be going? Is it concerned with Congress? Laws?
It's a great trip. I got to do that once. It's pretty cool. All right. Any more questions, concerns? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Is that working? Okay, we have item 17. Approval of expanded learning opportunities coordinator.
Mary Thurston?
Should we make a motion and second, or you want to?
Motion.
Mrs. Groom, second by Mr. Wynn. Mr. Conti, you have the floor.
Thank you. It's our pleasure to bring to you tonight for your consideration as the new Expanded Learning Opportunities Coordinator, Mary Thurston. She's served in our district since 2003. She's served for 16 years as a teacher at both Monte Vista and Sierra in grades 1, 3, 4, and 5. For the past 3.5 years, Mary has served as an assistant principal in our district at Monte Vista and currently at Endeavor. She also this past summer served as an administrator for the Summer of Fun and is well versed in the ELOP standards. And we think she's going to be a wonderful addition to that expanding program.
Okay, we better take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
I know Mary is here tonight. Mary, would you stand up and say hello? Congratulations. I know you'll be missed at Endeavor, but we're looking forward to you serving in your new capacity.
Thank you. Okay, this is my favorite part, the addressing the board. Individuals who wish to address the board may complete a speaker card and present it and any supporting documents to the deputy superintendent. Personal information such as student, parent, guardian's names, address, phone numbers, date of birth, email addresses, or other directory information as defined in Education Code 49061 may be excluded from the minutes of the meeting by submitting a written request to the superintendent. The board president shall recognize individuals who wish to speak, individuals wishing to present testimony to the board concerning specific items on. Limits of 3 minutes per person and 20 minutes per item shall be allowed. Board members may ask questions for clarification purposes. However, no action may be taken and no discussion may take place on any item that's not on the agenda. And that's per Brown Act. At this time, we'll take comments from PTA.
Mr. Board Member, people have to speak into the mic that's on the podium if they can be heard online. They can still use the handheld mic, but if you use only the handheld mic, no one can hear you online.
Okay, so we need both, I guess.
So yeah, they'll just have to stand at that microphone.
Okay, good clarification. So nobody from PTA. What about CSEA? Larry, you going to do CSEA? No. Okay. And Tal? Oh.
Mike, right? I don't. No, I mean the other one. Okay. So. I'm disappointed to come tonight before you and tell you that there hasn't been much progress made at the bargaining table. And that's really surprising, given the situation that we are in currently, in particular financially. The COLA is 13.56%. 6% of that is augmented, which means that it was not planned. We expected the district to come to us or to at least meet us at the table and discuss that and to acknowledge what we've been going through the last 2.5 years. Teaching is harder than it's ever been. We have emotional issues to deal with. We have behavioral issues to deal with. We've got, just a regular curriculum. And this isn't the time for us to be worrying about gutting the contract of language that protects teachers when we are in a great financial situation like we are in. In past years, we've been here talking about how our elected politicians didn't do right by us and fund education. They've done that now. So we shouldn't be here at this point in time not discussing compensation and instead looking to change language in the contract that is not going to be beneficial for teachers. And I will also add that there's no way on earth that some of the language that's been proposed would ever be ratified in a tentative agreement. So I'm looking forward to our next meeting on the 17th. I really hope that we can make some headway and look at our staff and appreciate what they've done. I've heard people say, well, you know what? Money isn't everything and compensation isn't everything. That may be. If we have strong administration, if we have nice campuses, if we have other things to look forward to at work and that are going to sustain us. Right now, we're not seeing any of that. So I really hope that when we return to the table October 17th, that there will be some movement and some respect paid to the teachers. In particular, my bargaining chair, Kim Hickman, and my bargaining team, Bill Clark, who's also our VP, Wendy Perry, who is our secretary, and Tyler Heckathorn, who is a new member to our bargaining team. So thank you all. Have a good evening, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you. Okay, comments from the audience?
We have an Angela Lee, I believe.
Hi, I signed up to talk about item number 21D on the agenda today. Can you hear me now? No.
Hear the microphone?
Double mic.
Excuse me.
Perfect.
Hi, I signed up. Can you hear me? I signed up to talk about item 21D on the agenda today. The opposed item is to approve an expenditure to the Hannigan Education Equity Group. It is my understanding that the proposed financial impact is listed at $3,900, which does not include cost of books, to Mariposa Magnet for staff development on a book written by John and Jessica Hannigan. Additional costs for the program includes $1,225 for staff to attend a seminar in a Zoom form. The monies for the Zoom meeting are to be paid from CCEIS funds. The staff development is significant as it pertains to the discipline policies at the school from the book, Don't Suspend Me, an alternative discipline toolkit. A portion of the description from the book, per Amazon, states, a guide educators and everything need to know to avoid reverting to traditional exclusionary discipline processes and methods for addressing traditional beliefs and pushback from stakeholders. The authors can be viewed on a YouTube video titled, What Does Social Emotional Learning Mean? When referring to traditional methods, Jessica Hannigan states, under exclusionary practices of discipline, there is a disproportionality for students with disabilities and students of color. Additionally, per Jessica Hannigan, the Hannigan Education Equity Group's work is based on the SEL definition from CASEL.org. CASEL has been doing social emotional learning research for 30 years, and according to Jessica, before it was the sexy thing to do. I urge parents to read this book, Don't Suspend Me, in order to understand the discipline culture being implemented at your schools.
1 minute.
Thank you. Any other cards?
The next speaker is Elena Zugal.
You could still do a speaker card, correct?
Is Elena here?
Good evening, school board and superintendent Dr. Marietti. I'm Elena Zagal, ASB Vice President of New Vista Middle School. Today I will be talking about the policy that bans students from taking fun field trips. As an eighth grader who is excited for the end of the year field trips in sixth grade, I felt incredibly disappointed when Ms. David in an ASB meeting told us that our district wouldn't allow us to take end of the year field trip to Six Flags. A lot of kids were excited for this field trip and used it as motivation to maintain their citizenship grade. This matters because it's one of the rewards we get for all our hard work. And as an ASB vice president, I have a responsibility to approve field trips and know that my students will know that my classmates will be devastated and angry that this field trip is canceled. I hope you reconsider this policy of not allowing celebrational field trips because we deserve to carry on traditions that motivate. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Liliana Green.
Hi, everybody. I'm Liliana Green, the ASB president of New Vista Middle School, and I am here to ask for our dress code to be improved and put on the agenda to be revised and updated. Young girls feel that teachers care more about what they are wearing than their education. And the dress code teaches girls from a young age that their bodies need to be hidden. They teach young girls that their bodies are provocative by telling them to cover up. And I believe that dress code favors male students. Because if a girl and a boy both wear tank tops, the girl will be labeled as distracting and the boy will be labeled as appropriate. Dress code especially targets curvier women. When you have a curvier body, it is harder to hide. Dress code should be changed to be more inclusive for people of race, any size, and any gender. They should not feel uncomfortable or discriminated for what they're wearing. And also, I believe that students wearing do-rags and traditional clothing should not feel discriminated against because that is significant to them and their culture. Thank you for listening, and I hope you guys hear what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. What was how to say this? Shaylin David? I'm sorry.
This one or this one? Okay. All right. Good evening, school board, district staff, and welcome to our new superintendent, Dr. Marietti. I wanted to acknowledge your presence at New Vista's campus 2 weeks ago during our first ever school pep rally. It was an honor to introduce you to our ASB and Plus leadership students, and they felt encouraged by your invitation to reach out concerning what changes they would like to see on our campus and in our district. One obstacle we're currently facing is the many restrictions the district has placed on incentives for students, including field trips. Last year, after having 2 years without sports, clubs, or field trips, Dr. Bowers and the board graciously lifted restrictions, and our students were able to celebrate the end of an intensely challenging year with traditional field trips. For many of our students, these field trips are major incentives, giving them a cause to make positive choices on campus, avoiding tardiness and violent conflicts. Taking away these trips in the name of academics completely erases the reality that our students also need to learn about skills we so fervently advocate for, socio-emotional skills. When we remove the incentives that students desire, we take away their motivation to improve their behaviors or participate in restorative justice opportunity. Teachers are being held accountable for upholding PBIS expectations, but there's currently not enough incentives for students to care about their citizenship. Students will say to me things like, I don't care, it's not like it matters anyway. This places enormous pressure on teachers to provide incentives under the table to persuade students experiencing challenges out of their own pockets and time. In addition, our award-winning band program is being told that since competition is out of the area, they will have to secure their own charter bus, costing thousands of dollars we have to fundraise. Band competitions should be fully funded by the district, as band programs are an elective option that the district offers students. Requiring students in an under-resourced area to pay for their own academic competitions is unfair, and it sends the message that their musical expertise is considered fun rather than academic performance in music. For a district willing to spend $672,056.46 on a contract with an already publicly funded sheriff's department for a single year, I find it surprising that we are unwilling to pay for rewards and incentives that other districts still allow their students to have. Where we spend the money says where our priorities lie. Our students deserve experiences outside of their community. They deserve special rewards for meeting the demands of school in such a challenging time, and they deserve to be celebrated in meaningful ways. Telling us we can't reward them with food or can't take them places for fun.
30 seconds.
We don't care about them as whole people and only as tokens for learning and test scores. Please reconsider this position. Finally, I'm formally requesting that the board add an action and discussion item to upcoming meetings regarding the outdated dress code policy for students. Our equity team has acknowledged this policy needs review and revision. Our students' relationships are being damaged between staff, and it creates a hostile learning environment. I encourage you to investigate inclusive dress code policies, which are negatively impacting our experiences. Thank you for your time and service.
Thank you. Can I ask you a clarifying question? Can I ask you a clarifying question? I don't know if you can hear me or not, but is the field trips, are they not a student allowed to take it if they have a bad citizenship grade? Is that what you're saying?
According to school board policy, there is a school board policy that says students with failing citizenship can be excluded. However, we were told that fun field trips are out of the way. So like our end of the year celebrations, which we use as our Q4 PBIS reward as well. Students have to have an A or B in citizenship. They're no longer able to take those. And we as ASB are in charge of approving field trips.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for clarifying that. Thank you for speaking. All right. Anybody else?
Mario present.
Mario.
Good evening, Lancaster School District. I've addressed you before, and I'll continue to address you as long as these parents ask me to be their voice. Since last we've met, I've electrified parents and schools around the country with my insightful and clear explanation of gender-affirming curriculum and programs sweeping our nation. Body dysmorphia is a serious disease with potentially disastrous consequences, especially if improperly treated. LGBT activists are guilting the world to allow their children to experiment with pronouns, hide hormones from their parents, and have uncomfortable conversations that are inappropriate between adult and child unless they are the parent. Would you rather have a living son or a dead daughter is the defense of affirming trans children. I'm here to remind you that medical treatment is private and the entire class doesn't need to be involved. We don't reveal that Jimmy has leukemia or Sally is anorexic. But we'll reintroduce a student and then read a book about pronouns, doctors making mistakes, and making a spectacle of the one child who's just trying to fit in. Gays Against Groomers is a coalition with hundreds of thousands of supporters and bringing national attention to the damaging affirmative behavior happening in our classrooms. We know you're hiding pronouns from parents, and some districts, including yours, are bullying parents into not speaking up. Tonight, you decided to stop accepting speaker cards from parents who commute and couldn't make the start time or your arbitrary cutoff time. I'm here to tell you and everyone watching that the unicorns have entered the field and these parents will not be silenced. We are gay and lesbian aunts and uncles. We are bisexual and transgender people who see the danger of introducing hormone therapy to teenagers during puberty. Thailand boasts one of the largest populations of transgender people and has over 20 years of legislation protecting anyone under the age of 18 from medicalization. It is with the support of families, doctors, and a community that these children grow into the adults that they are supposed to be. Girls who like to climb trees, play with bugs aren't boys, and boys who like to twirl or play house aren't girls. The biggest injustice we can do to our children is tell them that they were born wrong, because no child is born in the wrong body.
Thank you.
Carla Galvan.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here to speak on accountability because it is evident that many of you are not familiar with it and you do not hold one another accountable. You guys have a proclamation of Character Counts Month and School Safety Month, which states, whereas educators are called upon to impress upon students the principles of morality, truth, justice, patriotism, and a true comprehension of the rights, duties, and dignity of American citizenship. And another one where it states, whereas 6 common essential ethical values form the foundation of both a successful career and our democratic society, which we are not a democratic society. We were founded as a constitutional republic. It states trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and citizenship. You yourselves are not conforming to these essential values. Also on your School Safety Month, it states, whereas all students enrolled in the Lancaster School District have the right to attend campuses that are safe and secure, and whereas safe schools are orderly and purposeful places in which students and staff are free to learn and teach without the threat of physical or psychological harm. In various incidents, these statements that you have put together for this month have been proven to be untrue. My son's life was threatened and there was no consequences. How dare you ensure the safety of these children when you can't enforce Ed Code 48900 through 48926 to hold individuals accountable? How does this show responsibility and respect according to your Character Counts Month? And how in the world does that show school safety? Another incident about a student at another school being touched inappropriately.
1 minute.
And the consequence was losing 2 lunch days. How does that show respect or school safety? That is harassment. I came before you last school board meeting and I have not heard back from any of you board members. When are you going to start holding students and employees accountable for their own actions? We need to know when you're going to abide by these ed codes and enforce the proper punishment. How can you enact these proclamations when you don't uphold to these standards?
30 seconds.
I will continue to pursue these matters until I see the proper acknowledgement. Like I have stated before, you cannot and will not silence the truth. Parents, get involved. And what are you going to do when you no longer have any rights over your child? Padres, involúcrense en lo que está pasando en las escuelas. ¿Qué van a hacer cuando ya no tengan derechos sobre sus hijos? Thank you.
Thank you.
Christine Parkinson.
There's a funny thing that happens when we choose to face the greatest challenge, the most powerful force, the seemingly undisputable rulers of our perceived reality. We realize as hard as it is, the struggle for what we believe to be right is still better than the easier path or no path at all. When your cause is so big, so dire, so purposeful, so epic, so beyond the scope of reason, the mere fact that you faced it is a success in its own. There are plenty of predetermined and carved out pathways in this life. There are easy routes, there are simple routes. There are carved paths to follow. But as tough as it gets, the simple fact that you chose the challenge should be enough to be thankful. Ultimately, when our time is up, it will be the tough things that we remember, not the easy ones. It will be the changes we made, not the challenges we avoided. It will be the effort we spent, not the caution we found comfort in. Whether we like it or not, tough times will always come our way. But what is so interesting is that when we drive towards them, instead of waiting for them to come to us, we build resilience, we build tolerance for the resistance, and we build the will to persevere. It is easy to feel overwhelmed by the disconnect people have with the world right now. It seems like some of us have binoculars and some of us need glasses. But when I feel my back against the wall, I try to remember that when we are down, the only way out is up. If our purpose is worthy, our determination is unwavering, and our why is clear, and we've decided to never give up, how can we lose? The people will wake up. They have to. They always have. They always will. People before us believed it, and look at what they've achieved. It's our turn now. Don't forget the why. Soon they'll see it too. That's the way things come clear, all of a sudden, and then we realize how obvious they've been all along. As you can see, we are here to stay for the long haul. We are here to fight for the children. No longer will we stand on the sidelines as you, the educators and representatives of those higher than you, decide to sexualize and demean our children in the name of equity, inclusion, and race re-education programs.
1 minute.
SB 107. There seems to be a problem in this state and is intentionally making its way into our schools. Politicians and school boards think that parents need help raising their kids. We do not. Our governor is under the impression that we can't do it without him. He thinks that it's perfectly normal to interfere in the medical treatment of our children, encouraging child abuse in the form of mutilation.
30 seconds.
He recently signed a bill into law that makes gender reassignment perfectly legal for parents to inflict on the innocent children. In the state they live in makes it a crime. He has made California a safe place to come and escape criminal charges and have the surgery that will be on our dime. He says things like parents know what's best for their kids and we must stand for parental choice. He sure didn't feel that way when he was trying to inflict harmful shots on our kids. This is a clear example that parental choice is not what it stands for.
Your time has expired.
Teacher and is asking questions about
Your
sexuality.
time has expired. Thank you. That's all. All right. Thank you guys for speaking. And I guess we'll move on to item, where are we at? Oh, yeah. Okay. I think I skipped. Okay. Item 19, we have consent agenda. Consent agenda items, superintendent items 19A through 19K. Anybody want a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Grooms.
Second.
Second by Mr. Nguyen. Questions, concerns, clarifications?
Yeah, I'd like to speak to item B, the membership renewal to the AVSBA, and thank Mr. Giles for being one of the vice presidents of the School Board Association, and also bringing it so that each and every school district, 10 of us in the Antelope Valley area, meet once a month. We go over a lot of agenda items from different schools so that we're trying to keep all the Antelope Valley schools up to date, following a lot of California School Board Association information. I'd also like to speak on character counts, because I do believe that we are strong supporters of character count. We definitely want the parents involved. We definitely want the teachers and all of us to put together something that these students nowadays, yeah, they need some direction, social, emotional, but we can do it following the examples of character counts. So, and thank you to Baby to Baby for the donations to the Welcome and Wellness Center. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? Okay, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. We have item number 20. We have business items 20A through 20H. Anybody want a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Nguyen, second by Mrs. Grooms. Questions, concerns, clarifications? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? I go too fast for you? Okay.
Oh, I agree.
Okay. Motion passes 3-0. Item number 21, we have consent agenda items, educational service items 21A through 21G. Anybody want a motion?
Moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Nguyen, seconded by Mrs. Grooms. Questions, concerns, clarifications?
Yeah. After the lady spoke about the Hannigan, Bart, could you explain that a little bit?
So a lot of times.
Mr. Hoffman, if you don't use that microphone, they can't hear you. Yeah.
Is that okay? Thanks. Yeah. So Mariposa is one of our schools that are in disproportionality for suspensions. As you know, we have 7 that we're focusing on using our CSES monies. So they had the opportunity to choose what kind of work they wanted to do to address the disproportionality, and they chose to do the work through this book of Don't Suspend Me. One of the reasons people maybe question it is because it talks about alternative discipline.
Mr. Hoffman, could you explain what disproportionality is for us?
Yes, we're suspending more of our African students than the population disproportionately to the other populations in our schools.
And how does that relate to the requirements by the state and federal government?
We have to be within a certain ratio, and we're way out of the ratio for the last 3 years.
So we are being told we have to rectify.
We absolutely have to address this and correct this.
Thank you.
And we're given money to do this in the form of reallocating our special education dollars to address it, because it's in the area of of disproportionality in special education. So alternative forms of discipline to address it. In the past, you can't just suspend the students that got us into this point without looking at other ways that we can determine what's the function of the behavior, what's causing the behaviors. And alternative discipline allows us the opportunity to look at it with a multi-tiered system of support like we've been talking about for the last several years. And it's easy to understand in the terms of academics. If a student, we teach all the students at a tier 1 level, and some kids don't get it. They need an additional tier of support. They need more support to help learn it. That's a tier 2 in academics. Some kids still struggle and are maybe 2 grades or more below. They need a tier 3 level of support. They need more than the support they're getting in the tier 1. So they need that plus the others. The same is the exact same is there for behavior. We have kids who get it in our second step. Second step is our program that we use for behavior and social emotional learning that we teach every single day to all of our students. And some kids get that. 80% of the kids should get that in that. We use a positive behavior intervention support structure, a framework to help set this tone and the language that we use in our schools that students follow, that the adults follow. And we have Capturing Kids' Hearts to work on another approach to ensure that we have social contracts and expectations for our students that they agree on with the social contract, and we launch them at the end so that we have positive ways of interacting with our kids. But sometimes some of our kids need more support, and that's a tier 2 level. And we also have kids who need a tier 3 level, obviously. So we are looking at ways to find other ways beyond in the tier 2 and tier 3 realm to support these students that need the additional help. Because in the past, just suspending them, sending them home, and expecting them to come back with their behavior change is not working. And it hasn't been working in schools. So this is an opportunity for us to find alternative ways. And if you look, there's a free chapter 1 of this book that you can read off the Corwin site. And if you look, there are 7 steps they talk about for alternatives. And those alternatives are all around supporting students as a team effort in the school, looking at what's working, what's not working, how can we ensure that we're finding out what the function of the behavior is and address that so we're not being reactive, but being proactive. And that's really the essence of this book and this training.
And if I could just add, having served as a director of student services for the county of Ventura, I had the opportunity to oversee Court and Community School. And I can tell you that the school to prison pipeline is a real thing. And I've seen students who have been suspended come in contact with the juvenile justice system, and I've seen them incarcerated, and I've seen them put away. And I've sent students off to 30-year sentences in penitentiaries when they turned 18. So suspensions do put students into contact with disciplinary measures and into contact with the juvenile justice system. And we want to avoid that at all costs. We want to do everything we can to make suspension the last step. Thank you.
And the statistics that they list in the book talk about, and we can verify this with our own data in terms of parallel. African American students are suspended or expelled at 3 times the rate of white students. On average, 5% of white students are suspended compared to 16% of black students. Students with disabilities are more than twice as likely to receive an out-of-school suspension, 13% than students without disabilities. This is factual, and this is why the state of California is asking districts, not asking, but requiring districts to be proactive and take measures to correct this, and that's what we're working on.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Bart. Any other questions, concerns? Okay, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we have item 22. We have consent agenda items, human resource services, items 22A through 22F, I believe. Anybody want a motion? Moved by Mr. Wynn, second by Mrs. Grooms. Questions, concerns, clarifications? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. And item number 23, consent agenda items, innovation and technology services, items 23A. Anybody want a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mrs. Grooms,
Second.
second by Mr. Nguyen. Questions, concerns, clarifications, reports? Good? Good. All right, it's not our first rodeo with that. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed. Motion passes 3-0. Okay, we have legislative and policy discussion. So we have a couple of readings of bylaws, and I guess we'll move on to comments from the board. Mrs. Grooms.
I wanted to give a special shout out to our district administrators in recognition of the week for the school administrator. Earned a position by going through the ranks and having a true caring for the function of our school district as well as the students themselves and the day to day. So I do appreciate your leadership and thank you all for that very difficult work that you do. I have learned some interesting things tonight, and I have some things to research. Some of our speakers gave me some things to look at, and I do appreciate and support comments because it does open up areas where we can talk with our colleagues, talk with our community, and talk with our parents and staff about these different opportunities. Right now, we're still in a very difficult position with the school bus transportation agency. With the lack of drivers, and in fact, the charter bus organizations, which we use as our backup, they are having just as much difficulty. So I do sympathize with the difficulty in getting school bus transportation, but I have a sense that's not what was involved with the merit trip at the end of the year. So I'd like to find out a little bit more about that. That's all I have tonight.
All right, thank you. Mr. Nguyen?
Again, attendance in the district continues to increase. And that is in part, and probably in large part, to Mike Davis, Lexi Conte, for bringing our new teachers, getting them in here so that we can keep class sizes not at 34, not at 36, but at least down around the 30 level. I'm a firm believer that small class sizes are better for everyone, and just keep hiring them, Mike. We need them. But Rebecca, thank you for that, breaking down the homeless and the foster students. The numbers 930 and 530. And I like Diane's idea about bringing the UTK numbers to the meeting also. Congratulations to the ACES Award winners. An entire front office staff at Armagosa. Great. That's perfect. And Fulton and Ellsbury, the Science Olympiad. I've been to one. I've seen them. They're fantastic. And getting one of the students back from ninth grade to come back to eighth grade to do it with them is fantastic. So we love to see that. I think we're getting more after school activities coming back. And I'm appreciative to Dr. Marietti for pressing that. We need a lot of activities for these students. They've had 2 years of sitting at home, watching a teacher on TV, and I think it's good that they're back, being able to do dance, do music. I think they need that, and I'm so glad to see it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody's support during the meeting. Thank you, everybody that's stayed with us. Once again, congratulations to basically the whole front office at Amagosa Creek. Like I say, thanks to Fulton for their presentation. That's a pretty cool presentation, and I do agree that would be a really cool event to see, and hopefully somebody can help out with coaching since they have 23 different events that they do. Thank you for Caldwell Flores Winters for explaining this, the process for that bond issuance. Congratulations to Mary for her. I hope she got ice cream out of the deal. Thanks to all of our speakers. Definitely got some stuff to look at. I did get to go to a couple events last week on, I think it was Friday. Was that the cross country? Was it Thursday or Friday? Thursday? I think whatever it was. Got to go see the cross country event. Got to see I got to see a couple of our schools, but I saw Paiute run and Amagos Creek run, and I was mostly watching Amagos Creek because my son ran and he did pretty good, and pretty hard to see him, because he's kind of small. But small doesn't mean too much for runners. Somebody sent me a picture the other day. They were at Paiute, and it has a plaque on the wall. It has my daughter's name, said she was cross country champion, I think 6th grade or something. So somebody sent me that. I think it was one of the deputies, but says, do you know this person? Yeah. And I also got to go to lunch on the lawn today, and that was pretty exciting. There was probably, I don't know how many students they have at Monte Vista, but it looks like they had about, it looked like every parent was there, but it was looked like a good time for all, and that was a good time, and I'm glad I got to go for that for a couple minutes, see all the excitement. And with that, I'll pass it off to Dr. Marietti.
Thank you. First of all, I do want to acknowledge our administrators, Administrator of the Week. There's really nothing we can say or do for them that acknowledges a lifetime of dedication, commitment to children. And so we're going to try to do a little bit for them, but we just want to acknowledge all their hard work and dedication. Also want just to acknowledge the fact that, I got to go to a volleyball game today. It's nice to see us getting our sports back going this year. Kids getting involved in extracurricular activities, things like lunch on the lawn, where our community and our parents are being able to come back into our schools because we are partners in our children's education, and we need them right alongside us to do the work. So excited about things like lunch on the lawn, excited about things like sports, also our parent conferences, in-person parent conferences coming up. So that's a wonderful thing. Really like the feeling of normalcy again. And then finally, I do look forward to addressing some of the concerns that were brought up regarding dress code and field trips, and kind of getting a better understanding of what the situation is. So I will be reporting back on that.
Yeah, thank you. All right, I guess we don't need to go to a closed session again, so I guess we can adjourn at 7:21. If somebody gives me a motion. Okay, so moved by Mrs. Groon. Second by Mr. Nguyen. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay. What do I do with all your free time?
And it's only 12:30.